Today I'm going to show you how to build storage shelves on a cement wall. I needed some new shelves because my storage room was just chaos, and so it's time to clean things up. To get started, the first thing I'm going to do is to clean out my working area. I took a minute to cover up the insulation so that the fiberglass dust doesn't get on our food storage. Covering the insulation also makes everything look a lot more clean. When that was done, I put on a long sleeve shirt to take out the old shelves and remove any of the existing insulation. If you have to take this stuff off, make sure you wear a mask and gloves. With the insulation off the walls and ceiling, I took some measurements and was ready to go get my tools and materials. For this project, I'm using a shelving system made by Everbilt, and there's 3 things that I need to pick up. First are these heavy-duty brackets, and second are these rails that will be placed every 16 inches on your wall. Third, you'll need to get some of these tracks to hang the rails on. Also make sure you're getting the heavy-duty version so that it can support enough weight for things like canned foods. I also recommend grabbing some of these Milwaukee markers because they work fantastic on cement. So to get started, I'm going to measure out the center of the room, which will then help me center the track. Then I'm going to use the holes to mark out where I need to drill. Before you drill, clear out any of these metal support rods or any rocks or debris that might be in the way. To hold down the track and rails, I'm going to use these Tapcon concrete screws. These are made specifically for concrete, and to fit the Everbilt shelves, you'll want to get 3 1/4 to 4 inch screws. This kit includes a drill bit, but I spent about $12 extra and got one of these extended bits to make things a lot easier. I like to drill in 1/4 to 1/2 inch past the cement screw, and to help me measure how far I need to drill, I can put on this piece of tape as a stop mark. I like to use these impact drivers, and I'm going to make sure it's set on the hammer setting. You can use a regular impact drill, but it does take a little bit more effort. Now let's get to work. As you're drilling, make sure you wear a mask, because the cement dust can really mess you up. As I drill these in, I'm alternating in and out to pull out any dust. It's so important that these are dust free, so after I get done drilling, I'm going to go back with a vacuum to clean them out. I only drilled 2 holes to hold down this track, and I'm going to wait to drill the other holes until I have it screwed in place. Now that it's tightened against the wall, I'm going to drill the other holes. Then I'll go back with a vacuum and clean it all off. With the drill holes cleaned, I went back and screwed down the track. So next up, I'm going to put on the support rails. On a normal wall with wood studs, you'd want to space these every 16 inches, and I'm going to follow that same spacing here. When you put the rails against the wall, it needs to be as flat as possible, so if there's any bumps in the cement like this, you'll need to chip those away. So I'm going to smooth out the wall, then drill the holes for the rails. After drilling all those holes, the bit got pretty dull and started to get really hot. The heat caused it to warp and burn my fingers, so I ended up having to get a new bit. After I got the new bit, I finished drilling out the rest of the holes. As you move forward, it's a good idea to frequently stop and check that everything is level and straight. Also check for chunks of cement or any of these metal brackets that might be poking out and flatten them down. After I drilled all the holes, I'm going to go back and clean off the walls to get off the fiberglass and cement dust. I went back and vacuumed the walls because I really don't want any of that fiberglass to be in our food storage. I got all the cement chunks, fiberglass, and dust cleaned up, so now I'm ready to go build the shelves. For my shelves, I'm going to use this 3/4 inch birch plywood. I made these cuts to be exactly 12 inches. After cutting these 12-inch wide strips, I now had to cut them down to the right length. Shelves are cut, so now it's time to put them up. I need to put on these triangle brackets to hold up the shelves. And this is where I ran into a problem. I made the rookie mistake of assuming that the walls were perfectly straight, so I took off the shelf and realized I'm going to have to measure each section individually because the wall is so crooked. This time it fit just right, and it also fit on the bottom section, so I'm going to move it there and work my way upwards. The great thing about this shelving system is that I can move these brackets anywhere I want. For example, here I decided that I wanted to add another shelf, so I simply just moved them down and added an entire row. The shelving system made it really simple to put everything together. Once I had everything laid out how I wanted it long term, the next step is to secure the wooden shelves to the metal brackets. To do this, it's very simple. All I need to do is take a bracket and find the hole on the very end and insert one of these screws. I found that 1.5-inch screws fit perfectly. I finished securing the wood shelves to the metal brackets, so now I was ready to put on the food storage to test how strong these shelves are. As I started to put away the food storage, I saw the value of having a shelving system like this because it was so easy to adjust the location of the shelves. If a box didn't fit, I simply just lifted up the bracket and moved it to the right location. After moving things around and loading up the shelves, I will say that these things are incredibly strong. There was no flex in the shelves or bending in the metal, and everything was very secure. It was such a disaster before, and we avoided going in this room at all cost, and now it's very organized and clean. If you'd like to do the same setup in your garage or basement, I'll have a link to all the tools and materials I used in this video. And we're done here. Hopefully this video gave you the confidence to do it yourself, and will also enable you to go out and help someone else. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.